Hey everybody, welcome back for another video. Today's video is a little bit different. I wanted to dive into a little bit of history of The Walking Dead, one of the lesser known stories, I guess. I mean, it depends, I guess, how closely you followed with Walking Dead and the process behind the scenes, different showrunners and things we've had over the years, and just the little bit of things that we could have gotten, the little stories, the missed opportunities, things like that. And this one, it's not anything big. It wouldn't have changed the course of the history of the show or anything as far as just the general story. But because we get different showrunners every few seasons, and those first few seasons were kind of controversial with Frank Darabont and his run of the show and everything, and it coming to a screeching halt there about halfway through season 2, and just the lawsuits and everything that followed with that, and just all kinds of drama and mess and just everything that came with him departing the show for whatever reason. I mean, I'd never really read too much into it other than he was more or less kind of unfairly dismissed from the show and whatnot. And then, that's why people like the actor who played Dale, that's why he left, because he was very good friends with him. And just different things like that. Well, one of the stories that we were kind of not really privy to, or one of the missed opportunities that we didn't even know we had, was with the Tank Walker. Now, the Tank Walker, I didn't even know at the time who this was played by. I thought it was just a run-of-the-mill extra and everything, and it turns out it's not the case. Because of certain friendships that existed with Frank Darabont and the things that he wanted to bring to screen, and just I think there was a lot of argument with budget and things like that. We missed out on a pretty unique story, and just one of those stories that I would have loved to have seen, which was the fall of Atlanta. With me, with our post-apocalyptic shows, or just our apocalyptic shows in general, my favorite part of it all is to see everything just go to shit. I don't know what it is. I just love the idea of watching things fall apart, the chaos that ensues and everything, the structure breaking down, the chain of command within the military going to crap, and just everything about the fall of society. And I just love it. That's why one of the biggest lines, I guess, from the Fear the Walking Dead, the first trailer that we got, the first full trailer that we got, was,
"When civilization ends, it ends fast."
and that's just something that always stuck with me. And one of these stories that we didn't get to see, of course, was the Tank Walker and what led to him being the Tank Walker, who he was beforehand and everything. And so I just wanted to talk about that a little bit and talk about who this actor was, who is a very famous actor, by the way. He's been in a lot of things over the years. He's done a lot of voiceover work. He's done a lot of camera work and things like that. So I was really disappointed to find this out. And it might be a little embarrassing, I guess, but I didn't really know this until here in the last few months or so, where I didn't know that this was a story that we could have gotten with this particular actor who I really like. And it just never happened for just a lot of kind of bullshit reasons. But I want to talk about the Tank Walker, who is played by Sam Witwer. Now, if you're not familiar with that name, Sam Witwer is pretty famous in the voiceover world, who played the voice of Darth Maul, I want to say, and a lot of these spin-off Star Wars cartoons and everything. He also has a place within the video game community. He played the character of Star Killer within the Forced Unleashed games, which were very, very fun games. I love the crap out of those, especially that first one. I played that one quite a bit, honestly. And one of his other more famous parts within the video game community is also the game Days Gone, which is another apocalyptic game, which is a pretty fun game. I've actually started to replay it here recently. But Sam Witwer and Frank Darabont, from what everything I've heard and everything I understand about their relationship, is they had a very tight friendship, and Sam Witwer was brought in specifically to play this Walker because they were going to do an episode going into season 2 focused around his life and the end of his life becoming the Tank Walker. And so I was really disappointed that we didn't get to see that, because it was going to go into how Sam described it anyways, where we were going to see this soldier, just, your regular soldier within his units, and Atlanta spinning into chaos, and then the chain of command falling apart, him having to kill his superior to save people, and then him inevitably getting bit, and then thinking about taking his own life, just judging from what he's seen and everything, being right there on the front lines of the apocalypse. He crawls into this tank, and then he takes that grenade, and he's thinking about blowing himself up. And then that's where we see going into the pilot, where we see that grenade sitting right next to him, where he decided not to do that. He just left himself there to die. So it was a really disappointing thing that we didn't get to see the story because I love Sam Witwer as an actor and everything. He, aside from his video game work, he was in a show called Being Human, which was just another kind of remake from a British version where he plays a vampire and he lives with a werewolf. He has a werewolf roommate, and then going into his history, and then going to the werewolves thing, and just there's all kinds of things going on there. And so I was really, really disappointed that we didn't see that because he was also in Smallville, where he played kind of a version of Doomsday. So it was just another one of those really missed opportunities because of more or less kind of political bullshit where the business end of everything kind of got in the way of the storytelling because Frank Darabont had a vision, and because that vision might have cost a little bit more, or there was just maybe disagreements creatively behind the scenes with maybe producers, other producers, or with AMC Network itself, that story never came to fruition, which is a huge, huge missed opportunity. Because, like I mentioned, with watching how society crumbles during these apocalyptic settings, in my opinion, that's like the most exciting part of it all. I mean, granted, we did go on to meet some very good characters, and some of them met a sad end. But with this is unfortunate that we didn't get this story. Albeit it would have just been a single episode, but to see the focus kind of shift on this character that we have no idea who he is or anything like that. He's just a soldier trying to navigate what's happening in the world and watching Atlanta burn to the ground more or less, and then just him unfortunately ended up dying and becoming this iconic walker. When you talk about the tank walker, people know who you're talking about within The Walking Dead. He is the walker that Rick stumbles upon in the tank, of course, and then he pulls that gun out of his holster and disturbs the kind of dormant walker just to see him wake up and then turn towards him, and then Rick takes him out, and that deafening moment because of course he's in a tank, so the sound just ricochets and reverberates all over the place. So it was a very unfortunate way that that all kind of played out because of the dramatics and everything behind scenes with Darabont, with whoever. I mean, I'm pretty sure AMC was kind of the root of the problem there, and just them not wanting to see his vision and everything, considering it would be a little bit more pricey, and they kind of went for the cheaper option, which I guess worked okay. We did get some good story and everything, but there's still some stuff that I would have loved to have seen because we didn't really get that. We got some little bits of Atlanta kind of falling apart and everything within flashbacks, and we didn't get really any up close stuff there in the streets and everything. But kind of, just to revisit it one more time, that's my favorite part of these stories. Like when we had Fear, it was rushed, and they could have done that so much better. There's a couple other shows where I've seen situations similarly where they did kind of drag it out, and it just kind of made more sense as the way that things were breaking down, as society was collapsing, as technology was failing, and just things like that, where they didn't do it quite as well as I would have hoped. But then we jump over to Daryl Dixon. Even though that show is not my favorite, we got to see the fall of Paris. We got to see things fall apart in a different part of the world. So I don't know. Maybe that's just my personal opinion, but I really wish we could have seen this. It would have been, a fun episode to see, given Sam Witwer being the tank walker and everything, because he did actually play that part and everything. So it's a huge missed opportunity for sure. But anyways, I just wanted to share my opinion about that, and maybe if you didn't know, because hell, I barely knew, and I've been watching the show from day one. So, but anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment, consider subscribing, come back for more content just like this, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.